what I want to do right now is bring the township current on the various legal actions that are pending by MRPI against the township. At this point in time, the zoning hearing board hearing commenced and started last night. That was the first hearing on the appeal of the township of the zoning officer's determination. Started last night, did not finish, was continued until July 30th at 6 p.m. And again, that's the challenge of the township to the zoning officer determination, and that will continue on until the hearings are complete. Now, since the last meeting, there has been 3 other legal actions filed by MRPI against the township. One is a declaratory judgment action filed in the Perry County Court of Common Pleas. The intent of that action is, one, they're saying that the township has no legal authority to appeal its own zoning officer's determination. And secondly, they're saying that we were out of time, the appeal's out of time. I disagree with that. I believe that's within the purview of the zoning hearing board, and I disagree with that legal position that MRPI is taking in that case. So that was filed last week. It's pending in Perry County Court. There have been 2 curative amendment proceedings filed by MRPI. One, MRPI calls it a protective curative amendment proceeding. It seems to be saying that if we lose at the zoning hearing board, and then we're filing a protective matter to say that your ordinance, township, is exclusionary, doesn't provide for a data center, and that is a curative amendment proceeding. They're saying it's de jure exclusionary. There's a second curative amendment proceeding that they filed just a day ago or 2 days ago, and that is a de facto curative amendment proceeding. It is in essence saying that, okay, now you've adopted this ordinance, township. It is so restrictive, so many regulations, that a data center cannot be put in. It's therefore equal to being exclusionary. That is a second curative amendment proceeding they filed just in the last day or so. And that type, it's called de facto as opposed to de jure. That is out there. I have seen these before, where regulations in essence make a use almost exclusionary, but that's what they're saying. Now, those are the legal actions right now pending against the township, or the township has filed the one themselves at the zoning hearing board. The curative amendment proceedings, me as solicitor, I advise the supervisors. Those curative amendment proceedings, by the way, are in front of the Board of Supervisors, not the zoning hearing board. They're in front of the Board of Supervisors. When they file a curative amendment proceeding, they submit an ordinance that they think should be adopted. Those, I advise the Board of Supervisors, but the board has the right to retain an independent attorney to defend the ordinance in front of its own board. And normally that's what happens. They're not required to, but my advice would be for the Board of Supervisors to find an independent attorney to defend the ordinance in front of you. And that's why I would like the authority of this board, which to given me authority to retain an attorney for the township to defend the ordinance in front of the board, and to also perhaps get involved in the Perry County Court of Common Pleas case. Those are the 4 legal actions right now involving MRPI and the township. Curative amendment hearings, we need to commence those within 60 days from when they were filed. They were just filed recently, so we'll get dates when we can establish those hearings and set those up. One other item The Planning Commission, MRPI wants to extend the plans for the data center. They've granted an extension until October 8th, 2026. I believe it was previous to that, a month earlier. But I would like the board to make a motion to grant that extension, which MRPI has submitted, to extend action by the board on the data center plans through and until October 8th, 2026. That's simply pushing them out. And it makes sense because maybe the zoning hearing will be resolved by then, to some degree. So if you're willing to make a motion now to, we want to make sure it's in the minutes, extending the action on the data center plans as requested by MRPI to October 8th, 2026.
I'll make a motion. Carl makes a motion to extend the data center plans to October 8th, 2026. I will second. Is there any discussion before we take a vote? No discussion. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same. Having heard none, motion carried.
And the final thing is, I don't know that you're going to need a planning commission meeting next week. The plans, the final plans for the warehouse, there's no action needed. I talked to the planning commission chairman. There's people on vacation. I think it would be unnecessary to have a planning commission meeting next week. You can have it in August. You're still well within the time frame for acting on the warehouse final plan. So that's where we're at on these legal actions. I wanted to make sure that the township, the residents are aware of these actions, and the zoning hearing board action will continue on.
Question on the curative amendments. Do we and when do we have to submit them to our planning commission and Perry County Planning Commission?
We do need to submit them to the planning commissions, and we should do that at any time now. Yes, you're right about that. That has to be forwarded to the two planning commissions.
Let's get that done right away.
And make sure you have a trail sending it to the two planning commissions.
Okay.
Both curative amendments.
Yep.
Good point there.
Yeah, that's what we'll do next. So while we're still under solicitor, I'm gonna make the motion to approve Linus to look for and hire an outside counsel for these legal proceedings that are required. Do I have a second? I'll second. Carl seconded. Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye? Aye. All opposed by the same. All right. So with that done, we're gonna move into public comment on the agenda items only.